the 8th of October 2021, Shane Dawson returned to YouTube after a 16-month hiatus, which had been taken after he'd found himself in one of the biggest controversies in YouTube history. Toward the end of his break, having been gone for over a year, fans were almost begging for his return, possibly giving Shane the idea that if he were to come back with a new video, his viewership could be similar to that from before he disappeared. Only a quick browse over his channel shows that this certainly hasn't been the case. His average of between 20 and 40 million views per video prior to his break has declined by approximately 90% to an average of around 4 million per video recently. Even more interestingly, all we need to analyze is the first 9 minutes of his return video in order to explain the exact reason behind why his return was so unsuccessful. Yet in order for that short explanation to carry any meaning, we need to understand the position that Shane was in prior to his 16-month hiatus, because as I'm sure many of you are aware, things were going pretty damn well for him. Shane had racked up over 23 million subscribers, placing him in the 99.99th percentile for sub count.
So I just received the diamond play button. Keeping it real, I never thought I would get anything like this.
While in terms of viewership, he'd receive anywhere from 30 to 200 million views per month, depending on whether or not he uploaded. Shane's status as a top-tier YouTuber created opportunities to connect with other well-known influencers, such as Tana Mojo, Jake Paul, Jeffree Star, and James Charles, his relationship with each appearing strong, and in addition to being one of the most popular, well-connected YouTubers of all time, Shane Dawson had written 2 books titled I Hate My Selfie and It Gets Worse, both of which holding surprisingly decent reviews on Google, giving them exposure to mainstream stores such as Target.
New York Times bestseller, pick it up at Target.
However, in June of 2020, during a time period of less than 24 hours, everything that Shane had built was put into jeopardy. Now we should begin by stating that Shane was no stranger to controversy in the lead up to what you might call the main event. Around a year prior, in March 2019, a Twitter account by the name of Magician Dragon had made a post reading, "I found the audio, Shane Dawson came on his cat. WTF, this was on his podcast," alongside an old audio clip from September 2019.
One time, I laid my cat down on her back.
Are you gonna get arrested for this?
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't penetrate. I laid the cat down on her back and then I moved her little chicken legs, like, you know, spread open or whatever. And I was like, if I just like hump, but like on her tummy, like that's not weird, like whatever. And then I humped it, and it kept going. And I came all over the cat.
No
I was also
way.
like 19, so it's like, you know.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Did you just say you came on a cat?
Guys, I think I have to put money in the meter.
Yeah, right?
Shane would state in a video that his goal on the podcast was to create comedy by saying the most shocking things possible.
Playing this character, this guy who's like crazy and will say anything and like tries to make people laugh by shocking them. That was my thing. That was what I did on YouTube. A lot of people now don't know that.
Also stating that the cat incident never really happened in a string of 8 different apology tweets. That story was fake and based on a dumb, awful sketch idea I had years ago that I never made, thank God, and when the opportunity came up for a funny moment in the podcast, I told it as if it was a real story, was disgusting and very, very dumb. My goal with the podcast and with my videos years ago was to tell shocking stories that will make people and scream OMG no you didn't and think I was so crazy. There's so many things I'm so proud of, but all of my offensive jokes, over-the-top stories, and insensitive jokes are something that still haunt me and something I have to be faced with every day on the internet, and it never gets easier. So I'm sorry for what I said about my cat, I'm sorry for what I said about anything or anyone that was offensive, and I'm sorry for being someone who thought being super offensive and shocking all the time was really funny. I'm sorry for my past. The biggest mistake that Shane Dawson made with this apology was showing remorse for being offensive. Now we're gonna flog a dead horse here by reinforcing a point made in both the Only JS and James Charles video, but it once again applies here. If you apologize for one offensive thing that you said in the past, how long is it going to be before people go digging and bring up every offensive thing that you said in the past? The answer to that question, which can be quoted very specifically, was 1 year and 3 months. In June 2020, 1 year and 3 months after his apology for the cat incident, Shane Dawson's audience would find more of what they deemed inappropriate content, once again requesting that he apologize. There were clips of him cosplaying both the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Yes, it is me, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. How fly do I look?
as well as Nicki Minaj,
I'm a chocolate bunny. Or at least that's what it looks like. I was trying to go for Nicki Minaj, but this is what happened.
accompanied by various clips where Shane Dawson had said the N-word. As these clips were coming to light, further content that his audience deemed inappropriate was dug up to build a stronger case against Shane Dawson's cancellation. I don't care how old these clips are. The amount of actual predatory behavior Shane Dawson has been involved in for a decade on YouTube is disturbing. This is a conversation with a 12-year-old girl.
You have a boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Now, what did I tell you? When he says, can I put it in, you say,
No.
Good high five, girlfriend.
In addition to this, his audience would discover a clip of Shane acting inappropriately towards Willow Smith, who was the daughter of Will Smith. The Smith family, who these days are considered the biggest joke in Hollywood, would snap back against Shane Dawson with Jaden tweeting, "I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. This man was also doing blackface on the regular. As the youth, we need to support creators who support us and our morals. This is not okay." Whilst Willow Smith's mother, Jada Pinkett Smith, would tweet, "To Shane Dawson, I'm done with the excuses." As a response to the backlash, Shane Dawson would upload the infamous apology video titled Taking Accountability, beginning the video by stating that all of his previous apology videos sucked as they had been created out of fear.
Every apology video I've ever made has been from fear. It's me sitting at home thinking the whole world hates me and crying and hyperventilating and then just turning on a webcam and just saying I'm sorry and then hoping people know I'm a good person and then it'll go away. And that is stupid. That is something that a child does, not something that a 31-year-old man does. That's not good.
The problem with this statement was that it suggested that this apology video wasn't being made out of fear when it clearly was. Shane had found himself in hot water yet again, and everything from his body language, choice of words, and tone of voice screamed of anxiety, indicating that he was simply trying to get rid of the drama by making a quick 20-minute video. If Shane Dawson wasn't fearful, he would have simply kept his cool. Therefore, the taking accountability video itself was an indication that he was in fact fearful for his future, meaning that the apology video began with a fake, disingenuous statement. Shane Dawson would back this up with yet another disingenuous comment, where in a video attempting to stop the decline of his career, he'd state that he thought he deserved to lose his career.
Right now is very much a time of wanting people to be accountable, wanting punishment for people, and I agree. Like, I should have been punished for things I should have probably lost my career for. I'm willing to lose everything. I don't ever want you to feel like I'm forcing you to forgive me. That is not what I want to do.
And lose his career he certainly would. Shane would lose 1 million subscribers over the course of a month. Monetization was removed from his channel entirely, while Target announced that they were in the process of removing both of Shane's books from their shelves. Shortly thereafter, Shane would take to Twitter in a post reading, "I deleted everything. I'm done. For those who wanted me to address it, I did. I'm sure you can find it reposted somewhere. I don't want this energy in my life or on my timeline. I'm too sensitive for this shit and I'm done." Subsequently, Shane Dawson would disappear from the internet, beginning what would become the first reason behind why his eventual return to YouTube was unsuccessful. He didn't return to the platform in a timely manner. Whilst on break, Shane Dawson stated that he wasn't going to abandon his channel after 15 years of creating. However, this didn't exactly align with his upload schedule. 3 months went by, then 6 months, then 12 months without an upload from Shane Dawson. The problem with YouTube is people simply move on so damn quickly. Everyone knows that it doesn't take 12 months to make one video, so when a channel goes 12 months without uploading, the assumption from the audience is that you're not committed and are therefore not worth following. It didn't help that there were videos such as this one which continue to state that Shane Dawson's comeback is actually not welcome. However, considering over a year had passed, many felt as though Shane had learnt from his mistakes and should be welcomed back onto the platform, yet with some predicting that he wouldn't be able to achieve as much success as he had previously. Shane will get a lot of positive and negative attention. We likely won't know what state his career will be in for several uploads after his return. Regardless, I don't think he'll be anywhere close to his previous level of success, if not ever, for a long time. This comment's theory will be put to test on the 8th of October 2021, when Shane Dawson will return to the platform after 16 months away with a video titled The Haunting of Shane Dawson, in which it was instantly obvious that the drama was still having an effect on him almost a year and a half later.
I learned piano during my break. Kidding, I didn't learn anything. No, I learned a lot about myself. Hi.
Which is what made his return video so utterly terrible.
We say I'm sorry. Yes, we do. We make mistakes. Yes, we do. I'll get to that.
His audience had given him over 16 months to move on from the drama. Then upon returning, he spends around half an hour showing that even after all this time had passed, it was still plaguing his mind.
I definitely feel ashamed and embarrassed and horrified over a lot of the stuff that started, old clips and stuff that started coming out. I'm very, very, very disconnected from the person that I was in my early 20s. To a point where when I see that person, it makes me feel really sad and sick to my stomach.
Additionally, in this return video, there were so many examples of Shane's complete lack of commitment to the channel. For example, he thought it was quirky and funny how he hadn't put in any effort over the last 2 years.
I don't know how to do this. I haven't filmed a video in almost 2 years. Anyways, hi.
What are we doing?
Also seeming proud that he had swapped out his former hard-working lifestyle for a more relaxed, lazier existence.
Look, oh my god, it's so cute out there. Well, we'll go out there later, but I got a paddle boat, which I know is like weird, but like new me.
With all this in mind, it's hardly surprising to notice that the quality of the content has also declined dramatically.
It's a dreadful thing to sit and watch, featuring endless conversations that never go anywhere, an announcement for Shane's podcast that already feels low effort, and the exhausting sense of humor of a creator who thinks that every uninteresting little video he farts out is worthy of being built up by teasers and trailers like it's a new Conjuring movie. I'm baffled that this is making it to number 4 on YouTube's trending page.
The title of this video explains the feeling most accurately. Something about the content just feels a bit tired and bland. It's certainly less captivating. Perhaps it's now harder for him to access the individuals who added spice to his documentaries, such as maybe Jake Paul. He still seems to be on pretty reasonable terms with Jeffree Star, being seen in a paparazzi video with him from a couple of months ago. However, after the cancellation, it's probably safe to assume that Shane Dawson is gonna have a tougher time getting new influencers in his documentaries, given his new status as a controversial YouTuber. Shane's confidence for his channel appears to have declined a fair bit as well. In community posts, he stated, "To be honest, I've been feeling really indecisive the last few months about everything I do, and I second guess everything. I used to be so sure about my choices when it came to creative stuff, and now I'm just not for some reason. It's been a struggle, and I'm just trying to get back to feeling confident with that stuff again." Also requesting that his audience provide ideas for his next main channel video, which is kind of innocuous and could have simply been a fish for engagement, but still kind of feels like he's lacking confidence in the realm of idea creation. To be fair to Shane, he's been hosting a podcast on his second channel, Shane 2, which has been performing surprisingly well at around 1 million views per episode. However, the same can't really be said for the main channel. His most recent video from 2 months ago currently sits at around 2.7 million views, which is slightly below his post-return average of around 4 million per episode. Both of these numbers are in stark contrast to his average from a few years ago of between 20 and 40 million views per episode, which if compared to his average viewership per month of around 7 million, we can see that it now takes Shane Dawson 3 months to achieve the same amount of views as he would receive in only one video from before his cancellation.